Alright guys, welcome back to Dark Souls 3 All-in-One Guide. In this video, we're going to be going through the High Wall of Lothric. Pretty straightforward area. There's no gestures to get in this video, but we do get 2 additional rings, another Estus Shard. We're going to begin Greyrat's quest. We're going to get our first Covenant achievement, the Way of Blue. And to end the video, we're going to beat Vort of the Boreal Valley for another achievement. Now, when I did my Indiana Jones walkthrough, we went left to begin because we didn't have a fire-infused weapon to start with. So, this time, since we have a fire weapon, we're going to go this way. Now, you can stand here, a good vantage point to take out the dogs. Although I might have went a little too extreme on it, I could have just jumped down there and used the fire weapon. Probably would have been a much better idea. But I just hate dogs in this game, they're so annoying. And they will get to your position from here. The first one couldn't figure it out, but the second one did. And surprised me. But if you have a fire weapon, they are the dog's kryptonite. It will put them in a rolling animation, and they'll be a sitting duck for you. So I highly recommend fire arrows if you can get them later on in the game. If you have a lot of dogs in an area, fire arrows are good. Or just any kind of fire weapon will take them out very easily. You see this one got the jump on me. And then I was caught trying to switch weapons. And I was hitting him with my fist. And then realized the damage output was not good enough. Now there are 2 big guys here. Brandishing big weapons. You got one with a halberd and one with an enormous axe. I recommend just letting the guy on the left just do his path. The aggro is pretty lenient for this section here. I recommend taking out the halberd guy first. Backstabbing is the way to do it. I don't know what kind of build you guys are going for, but for my build, I'm going to be using daggers primarily. And they're very good for backstabs. Take out the archer first before dealing with the Puss of Man. Don't aggro the Puss of Man yet to get him to transform. You do want him to transform because you want that Titanite Shard, and he won't give you the Titanite Shard unless you let him spawn all the way. These enemies, I still haven't figured them out how to do them consistently without getting hit. Their hitboxes are just all over the place. I recommend staying away from them as much as you can and throw fire bombs. You should have enough to take out one of them. But you can see they do high damage this early on. Even in the late game they'll do high damage. No matter what, they'll do high damage to you. But fire is their kryptonite. So later on in the game you'll have better fire weapons. But for now, we got fire bombs and our dagger that is, well, like I said, I don't know what build you guys are going for, but definitely have a fire weapon for these guys of some kind. Try to get behind them and just stay away from their claws, I guess. It's just a crapshoot with these guys. And you'll get a Titanite Shard for your troubles. There's 2 of these we want to take out in this area. Whatever weapon you're going for, you want to have it at +2 before the boss. And you'll have enough Titanite Shards to do just that. Now we're going to take out this guy. We want to take out both enemies down here. And we don't want to sit at a bonfire because we want to go ahead and open up the shortcut and not have to deal with the annoying dogs and these guys on our way back. So I recommend trying to clear this area. If you have low Estus though, don't worry about it. But for me, I'm just going to try to not sit at a bonfire and come all the way back through here to avoid more enemies here on the way back. If you can do it, you can do it. You just plunge attack this guy. Item here now. That's the shortcut you'll come through. Because the scenario is you're going this way and there's a couple of dogs right here that are going to attack you. The archer's going to shoot you from above and the big guys are going to be on you as well. And you'll likely die on the way to the bonfire. So just try not to sit at a bonfire until you can open up that shortcut. If you can help it. Make a beeline for this guy, kill this guy first. Because he'll get in your way as you're trying to kill the lantern guy. And you can still have him scream a little bit, just not too much. And he won't aggro all the guys. There's another lantern guy up here. You want to take him out first. You don't have to kill the remaining hollows that are just sitting there placid. But this guy you want to take out. And there's a guy on the left there. He's just sitting. There's some binoculars there. Yeah, you don't have to kill these guys. They're not going to do anything. Backstab this guy. He's unawares. A couple more hollows in this area. Firebombs are going to be helpful for the next plus of man. The game gives you enough to get through the area. Now for this dragon, we're not gonna kill the dragon. Obviously, we can't kill it right now, but you can chase it off and get a large Titanite shard early, and we're gonna do that later with our bow. But you want to come from this direction when you do it. I made a mistake and came from the other bonfire. Don't do that. I recommend getting a couple of items here to kind of linger around a little bit, because if you don't, the enemies are going to be able to get to the door and not get killed by the dragon. As you can see, they're still in here. In my Indiana Jones walkthrough, that didn't happen because I picked up the ember. But if you just run for the door, they're going to come through the door and you're going to be annoyed by them. So if they do get to the door, just climb the ladder and wait for them to come up and just kill them as they come up. Now, one of the main items that you want to get in this game, no matter what, is the symbol of avarice. You have a chance to get one when you kill mimics, so I recommend killing every mimic in the game. And later on, if you get to the last mimic and you do not have it, use Undead Hunter Charms and keep aggroing him and don't kill it until you can get the symbol of avarice. Because mimics do not respawn. And you don't want to miss your chance. But it's just a random chance if you get it or not, from what I understand. But this first one will drop the Deep Battle Axe. It is a axe that has dark damage without scaling. The Dark Gem was the one that gives you dark damage with scaling. This one will give you... It's basically the fire version of a weapon. It doesn't scale at all, but it gives you dark damage. Very useful for the Dancer. I've actually killed the Dancer straight away right after killing Vort with the Deep Battle Axe. It's a very effective weapon. Just have it at +2 if you're going to try to kill the Dancer. I don't recommend dealing with this guy right now. He's a pain in the ass. There are ways to kill it, but not right now. We just don't want to deal with it. There's going to be some assassin hollows that ambush you here. Just make sure you turn around and kill it. You won't be able to sit at the bonfire, obviously, because he's too close. But we're just going to light it. We're not going to sit at it here. But these guys have a very strong combos with their daggers. They can overwhelm you. So make sure you take them out with backstabs appropriately. Now there's your another Titanite shard. No matter what weapon you're going for, you want it at +2 before the boss. And you'll need a total of, I think it's, okay, you need 6 shards to get it to +2, because the first goes in multiples of 2, so you need 2 to get it to +1, and 4 additional shards to get to +2. So a total of 6. We're going to kill another Pus of Man coming up. And we're going to get a raw gem. It's not a guaranteed drop from some of these enemies, but it is a guaranteed drop from the Crystal Lizard that is up here. It does have a chance to drop from some of these hollows, though. But it's not guaranteed. Again, make sure he spawns and just back off and try to keep your distance. The best advice I can give early on in the early game here, where you don't have strong weaponry, and I completely missed that throw there. I just keep throwing and stay away. He closes the distance very quickly. You just want to get away, heal up, and try again. Just don't let him get close to you. Try to get behind him if you can. If there's just no choice that you have, if he's going to be that close to you. But you can see we got him there. Just enough fire bombs. Sometimes they'll drop embers as well. The ones that are in the Consumed King's Garden will also drop dark gems. And there's your raw gem. Now, there's annoying enemies down here. I like to kind of thin the ranks a little bit. If you have a ranged option at this point in the game, I recommend just kind of making your life easier, because if you ignore them, they can actually come into the next room with you and give you a hard time. So, or follow you down the ladder if you choose to go down into the courtyard. There's some black fire bombs over there. We're not going to get them just yet, but we will come back for them. I found that the vantage here is pretty good for taking out this archer, although try to aim better than me. You want to come down here and get these fire bombs, but make sure you take out these guys before they can get to you. Now you could go down that ladder right there to the left, but instead I prefer to go ahead and get the key to Grey Rat's cell, and that's this direction, so you want to go this way. Plus you'll get some Titanite shards along the way. Make sure you kill the lantern guy here. Hopefully the Lothric Knight did not see you, because that guy is a spear user, and you know how I feel about spear users if you've seen any of my previous videos. They're the bane of my existence. Another shard here. I don't recommend fighting this guy right now. You can if you want to, but he'll drain your Estus flasks. There are easy ways to kill him, and I'll show you later, but right now it's just not worth it for me. We're just going to get the item. We're going to skip the broadsword for now, on to the left there, and the Astor swords in a hidden area to the right, but we'll come back to them later. I prefer going this direction first because it's easier to clear this area out as opposed to going the other way. Now, there are opportunities to make this area easier. You can use fire bombs if you want, but for me, I just want to get rid of the dogs first and then deal with the big guys one-on-one. And the aggro is surprisingly lenient again. If you just stay in certain areas, they won't aggro too easily. But I always look for the dog first. There's one roaming around and there's one that's guarding the key. Just kill the first one that's roaming around first before doing anything else. If you have a ranged option, it's a great way to take them out. But again, we just didn't have enough strength in our bow yet. We are going to get a better bow. This will not be the main bow for me, but that's later. But it's always good to have a ranged option in any build, no matter what build you have. Now there are two big guys roaming around here, as you can see. Just wait for the one on the left to go walk around and kind of move over here and get ready to dodge and backstab. That's all you gotta do with these guys, because they have such a long recovery time that you can just get behind them and backstab them for days, and then when they rise up, just swat at them till they're dead. There's a shard under the stairs here, don't forget that. Again, you can use a firebomb to take this guy out with the explosive barrels if you like. I'm just going to get his attention here, draw him away. I tried there, but I failed miserably. As you can see, they'll get their axe stuck in the ground, and it's just so easy. These guys are so easy. They balance it by the damage they do, but you know what to do, they're not a problem. And we got one more guy, the halberd guy. And we got the more dangerous enemy of this room is the dog. It's guarding the key, and then we'll be done with this area. Ultimate Estus 2 of 11 right here. Make sure you get that. I'm just going to shoot this guy. I hate dogs in these games. All of From Software's games, they have to have dogs, and they're just so annoying. There's the key to Grey Rat's cell now. Most of the time I would bone out, but not this time. Like I said, we don't want to go back to the bonfire because we want to get that shortcut open without spawning all those enemies again. But right here, you can position yourself right above this hollow that's just chilling out down there, and you can plunge attack them. Instant kill there, and you can get the rapier. I am going to be using a dex build for this playthrough. I'm going to do a dex magic build. The magic is only because I want to use the crystal sage rapier sometimes when I'm grinding. And it is a good weapon too. Make sure to get the 2 embers in this area. Try to save embers as much as you can. Don't use them willy-nilly. They're not easy to get in the early game. You can get them pretty easily in the late game by grinding Lothric Knights. And you're going to be grinding them for ages anyway, so when you want to get the sunlight medals. Master of Rings. Ring of Sacrifice 2 of 107. Now, there's more than one Ring of Sacrifice in the game, but you got to have at least one, so you want to make a jump over here for your second ring. I'm just trying to wait for this guy to kind of go away a little bit. Take a sharp right as soon as you get through here. And we're going to open up the shortcut. Don't forget the green blossom here. I don't ever fight these enemies. I just run through. There's no point in fighting them. They don't drop anything in particular, so. And we're safe because we've killed all the enemies earlier and we didn't set it a bonfire to respawn them. So we know that we're safe. Make sure to grab these throwing knives. They will be useful later. In fact, we're going to stock up on some more throwing knives. But they're not going to be useful just yet. No dogs to deal with. I love it. Now we're going to go open up Grey Rat's cell. So we're going to go spawn on the tower on the wall bonfire. Now we do have to leave one item behind. I know this is an all-in-one, but we don't have the key to the lift yet. So when we do Leonard's quest, we'll have the key to the lift and we can go kill the Dark Wraith and get the red eye orb down there. But right now we just simply cannot get it, but it is in this area. And there are New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus rings that we can't get because obviously we're not in that cycle. And they are in different areas of the game. But we'll get to that much later. So even though I've completed an area, it's not necessarily 100% complete yet. But there's no way we can get everything on our first run through. Be careful in this room. Because if you have a fire weapon, if you accidentally hit the barrels with it, yeah, you're going to have a problem. You're going to blow yourself up. I've done it before. More throwing knives. They'll come in handy later. Alright, our next ring. The blue Tearstone ring. 3 of 107. This ring has saved my ass many times. And it'll save it in this episode too, as you'll see. Equip it immediately. We're not going to Homeward Bone yet. Because we missed a few items we're going to go back and get. As I had mentioned before. We're going to go get the broadsword. The Astor sword. Black fire bombs I know we missed. We're going to get them all. Black fire bombs are here. You'll be able to buy them from Patches later. I never kill Patches. I never kill him. He is such a useful merchant. I don't know why people even want to kill him. But you never want to kill Patches, ever. We're going to go ahead and get the broadsword first. Make a beeline for it. Just grab it and go. Snatch and grab. Try to avoid enemies along the way if you can. They won't follow you into this room, at least. Well, at least the Lothric Knight won't. Green Blossom here, then drop down, and there's the Store Sword. A lot of people like this sword. It's a great sword, especially if you make it raw. Kind of like what I did with the Uchi Katana in my Indiana Jones walkthrough. If you make it raw, you get high damage early in the game, but I'm not going to be using it in my build. Now we have Grey Rat. I want to buy an additional bandit knife because that will be the one I use. I'm going to make it a sharp bandit knife, and I want to get arrows, a ton of arrows, because we're going to well, we can't kill the dragon, but we can scare him off. And I realized I had some wood arrows, but the wood arrows aren't going to do as much damage. I don't recommend going to this bonfire. You want to go to the other bonfire. So I made a mistake here, and I apologize. But you'll see that I realized what I had done. Because one time I was trying to kill the dragon, and he was in the distance in front of me when I go through this door here. But he wasn't there this time, so I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I realized I had to go back to the other bonfire. So not this door, but the next door. Basically where you came through. Yeah, I thought that I could shoot him from a distance here, but no. You can't do it. He's above you, right above your head. So you can't do it from here. If you try to get 100 arrows if you can, I just bought the max that I could get. But I don't like how they did items in this game, like arrows and stuff. You can only hold a very small amount compared to Dark Souls 1 and 2. And I just don't like that. That's one thing I don't like about this game. There's not many things I don't like about it, but that is one really large annoyance for me. As you can see, I still don't know what's going on. I'm like, where's the dragon? Where's the dragon? And he's above my head. Once I come to that realization, I was like, oh, well, I can't shoot him from here. So I'm going to wait for my chance. And I didn't wait long enough. I should have waited for the fire to go away. I'm just like, well, let's just go. And don't worry about the items now because you'll get them later once you scare the dragon off. You see now why you want to come from the other bonfire. It's much easier. You want to go ahead and take this guy out. I just kick his shield. You do not need the horse hoof ring from Patches to 100% kick shields, but it is helpful for the larger shield guys. But for the wooden shields, you can just kick them and they'll go away. Now, for the dragon, you want to shoot him in his claw. In his finger of his claw. You don't want to shoot him anywhere else. Now, I didn't figure this out for a while. I was shooting him, and I was like, well, his claw's a little bit closer, and then when you realize that the arrows don't have to travel this far, they do more damage the less distance they have to travel. So, yeah, shoot him in the claw and get the large Titanite shard. This will allow us to get our weapon to +4 early. Now we can loot the area. You get a club, an ember, and a fan favorite from Dark Souls 1, the Claymore, all the way over here. I've actually never used this weapon. Now we can go back to Firelink. I'm not really homeward boning right now because I'm not killing the dancer early, so I'm not going to get the coiled sword fragment. So I'm kind of trying to save my bones for now. Would have been faster to just homeward bone back, but can buy them from the handmaiden eventually. Now back to Firelink. You want to make sure your weapon is at +2 before taking on Vort. And make sure you cash in your Estus Shard at Andre.
Ashen 1.
So yeah, we're going to get it to +2. And always make sure you use your shards or your undead bone shards if you have them, but we're not going to get any of those in this episode. We're going to level up. I'm not going to tell you guys how to level your character specifically because this is not an actual guide like it was an Indiana Jones walkthrough. This is an all-in-one, so whatever build you want to go for is your prerogative. I don't think... Alright, we're going to go get the rest of the items and we're going to get another achievement before taking on the boss. We're going to get the achievement for our first covenant, the Way of Blue, and we're going to get a couple items in the area before the boss. But unfortunately, one of the enemies took a lot of my Estus, so I had to come back. You can actually plunge attack this guy sometimes. Not this time, though. But there's the Lucerne in the courtyard. Another favorite from Dark Souls 1. And there's a particularly hard knight that holds a refined gem, which we need for the Master of Infusion achievement. Eventually. You might as well go ahead and get it now. He's not that hard to kill, but in this early stage, yeah, he's pretty hard. And he'll buff his weapon. And he's got high damage with his attacks, so yeah. So get this item here. Try not to have these always follow you. You want to be able to kill the Lothric Knight without being harassed. So I recommend going this way around. I don't even kill this guy. Just avoid him and get Lucerne. And we'll go get our achievement for the Way of Blue. Unfortunately, we're not going to be killing Emma this time to get to the dancer early. It is such an easy way to trivialize the game by getting to the dancer. But not this time. We're just going to talk to her and get the Way of Blue achievement, Covenant. But yeah, no dancer this time, guys. We're going to go proper. I mean, I'm still going to go out of order. I'm going to go to Fair and Keep first before going to Cathedral of the Deep for my own personal reasons. But it's still going to be everything you need. So right here, try to be as calm and as slow as you can and backstab him to get a good jump on him, because you're going to need a good jump on this guy. Again, I wish I had Patch's Ring at this point, but not right now. Don't have it. This guy will kill you so quickly, and the blue Tearstone Ring saves me there, and it will save my bacon yet again before this is all said and done with. But this guy is always giving me trouble, especially in the early game. You get hit by one of his charge attacks, depending on what you got, you're probably going to die. It's a very high damage move. And later on, the ones in Lothric Castle, yeah, they've taken a lot of health in one shot. Backstabbing is still the way to go if you can get it. Now look at that. I don't even know how much health I got right now. It saved me from dying, the blue Tearstone Ring did. And he'll bless his weapon as well, but there's the refined gem. Probably wasn't worth all that trouble, but it is a gem we need. Might as well get it over with. Now we're going to go back to the bonfire and go to the boss. Even though I didn't take any damage from the boss, you still want to have Estus for the boss. Same as always, just take the same path. guy follows me in here. Of course, always got to make it life tough. Just trying to get down the elevator, guy. Come on. And then I thought he was going to die, but nope. The elevator saved him. But again, they're so weak to backstabs because they're so slow with their attacks. But they can be hard in tough spots like that. Now, Vort. Depending on your weaponry, just get behind him and just wail on him and just dodge his attacks. Not much to say. I mean, I don't even take a hit from him, I don't think. I'm using a dagger at +2. And my dex isn't even that high. But bleed is great in this game, and I highly recommend using bleed on bosses that can be bled. Although the luck stat has an effect with it. I'm not even sure what it does. But we will invest in luck much later in the game when we respec to grind for the Covenant items. You can summon for the fight if you want to, but it's not necessary. But you'll get the achievement, Vort of the Boreal Valley, once you kill the boss. Should be your 5th achievement out of 43. Just get behind him, start working on him. I'm actually using the one-handed attack too. It's a little bit quicker than the two-hand attack. And I'm just trying to bleed him out, so. You should be able to get some more damage when he charges up for his second phase. Just make sure to dodge as soon as you see that helmet go down or something, like a shield. Again, you get generous damage when he's doing his breath, and it's just, he's easy. He's a cakewalk, guys. Especially if you have the dagger with bleed. And that's it. We're just going to go do some leveling, and that will conclude episode 2 of this all-in-one guide. The next guide will be the Undead Settlement. I'm making it a habit to get rid of all the stuff I'm not going to be using, just so I declutter everything. I'm kind of an OCD individual. I just want to have what I'm using only, instead of having to sort through a lot of stuff. Now I'm going to keep all the bandit knives. I'm going to be infusing every bandit knife infusion in the game, so I want to keep track of that. But other than that, yeah, just what I'm using. Good habit every time you kill a boss to just spend your souls so you don't lose them. For me, I'm trying to get my dex and strength up so that I can use a bow in the future and a particular boss weapon, the Crystal Sage Spear, Crystal Sage Rapier. And that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next one.